Hi, welcome everybody. It's July 27th. If you've got mental illness, I hope I can help you in some way. There's a new movie out uh, by Emma, well, it's starring Emma Benoit. She's from Louisiana and she's a suicide survivor. And there's a movie about her. It's called My Ascension. If you go to myascension.us, that's the website. The film's making a lot of waves. It's geared towards youth, but I think anyone would appreciate the movie, no matter what age you are. It's going to be aired on PBS, I believe, in the fall. And if you go on the website, they have spots where you can host screenings in your community or your schools. And I would love to see that screen more. I'd love to have more people see that movie. I haven't seen it yet, but uh, yeah, it's people are really talking about it a lot. And yeah, I'm working on getting a screening in my local area, my local province here in Canada. That would be wonderful. I'd love to see it shown in more screens across Canada. I'll try my best to put the word out about it as the weeks and months go on. If you've got mental illness, I want to tell you that I think you're incredible for what you're going through. I really do. I know you may not be able to feel proud. Uh, Feeling proud of accomplishments is a good feeling, and with mental illness, those good feelings can be taken from us. So I want to say to you, congratulations, you got through today. That's a major, major accomplishment. That should not be taken lightly. I know you may feel, oh, I just got through today. I just sat on the couch. I couldn't do anything. That's huge. I had a friend who had COVID recently, and he said he went for a bike ride because he's a cyclist. He did an hour ride in the morning, and that was it for the day. He said later on in the day, he was lying down looking at the dishes, and he's like, I want to do those, but I just can't. I just don't feel like it. And I felt like saying, well, well, I think I did say that's my life for many, many years with mental illness. You want to do things, but you just can't. And I know there was a lady in the hospital, the psych ward at my worst, when I was diagnosed with schizophrenia in 1994. I was in the psych ward and she came up to me. She was a nurse and she said she wanted to show me that I could do things. And I get where she was coming from. I really do. She said, no, Matthew, you can do stuff. You're not just sitting here not able to do things. And we were sitting at a table in the common room kitchen area. And there's something at the table. I forget what it was. But she said, no, you can do this. Look at this. You can do this. Do this. And I could just feel my anxiety rise when she told me to do that. And she kept at me, no, do it, do it, do it, do it. Eventually I did. And she said, see, you can do that. And I totally get where she is coming from, but it's the anxiety. And I just, yeah, that's making me think more. There's someone I knew, well, I didn't know him, but he had schizophrenia. And he said, one day he was going to stand up to his hallucinations. I never hallucinated. I'm in the 25% of people with schizophrenia who don't have hallucinations. But one day he said, I've had enough. I want to stand up to my hallucinations. And he did. And his mom, who was in the next room, said she was a bit concerned because she didn't know what was going on. He told her later what was going on, and she's said, okay, I understand now. He said he stood up to them saying, you're not going to control me. I'm the one in control. And his mom, he said that the hallucinations diminished to a certain degree. I met him a week or two later for the first time ever. He told me this, what I just told you. And I told him about avatar therapy. There's a place in Montreal, Canada, where you can get avatar therapy. There are other places around the world and that give avatar therapy, and that's what happens in this avatar therapy. You stand up to your hallucinations through an avatar that represents your hallucinations on a computer screen. The avatar is monitored or there's some a therapist on a screen, a computer screen in another room. The person with hallucinations can't see this person, and the therapist talks back through this avatar to the person with hallucinations. The remarkable thing about this is that the hallucinations can leave. They can leave totally, partially. It doesn't work for some people, but they leave in a matter of weeks. It's like one session per week or whatever it is, 2 sessions per week over 8 weeks or 6 weeks or 10 weeks, 12 weeks, whatever it is, probably dependent on the person. But that's incredible. So, yeah, you can argue how much do you have control over it? And I don't know. It's, I begged, begged for anything to stop the pain. And I did whatever I could to do it. Yeah, when that lady, the nurse in the hospital said, "See, Matthew, you can do it," she raised my anxiety and she left after that, sort of saying, "You can do it. I'll move on to my next patient." And I was left there thinking, I still feel horrible. In fact, you raised my anxiety. Yes, I did do this little task on the desk, but yeah, it was ultimately sort of a negative experience for me. So I want to tell you that you're capable of so much more than you think you are. I know it feels like you're giving everything you've got, everything. And I want to tell you that you have days ahead of you, weeks, months, years, the rest of your life ahead of you, where it's very possible your pain can lessen, that you can keep going for longer than you thought. And all these things that you're going through today and yesterday and the day before slowly slip into the past. And life is a way of healing wounds. There's the old saying, life heals all wounds. Well, it won't heal all wounds. If you have your legs cut off, it's hard to get them put back on. But it does heal wounds, and even for people who've gone through horrible things, for me with mental illness, time is a way of just soothing over things. And yes, time goes very slowly. Time goes very fast too in some ways. 10 years can go by just like that. But it does happen, and time is reliable. Time is never going to stop. Time just keeps plodding on with regards to not one single person on the planet. It keeps plodding on regardless, just like gravity. You can count on it like nothing else. And these things today that seem so huge, so huge, so huge, at some point in the future, you'll be able to look back and say, I went through that. I had more challenges to come, but I rose up and faced them. I rose up and faced them every single day. I did that. I fought my mental illness. I fought and I fought. And it's possible to get better. It really is. There's a man in a book I read about. The author went to visit him. He was an Olympic diver and he was paralyzed, quadriplegic, I believe, and he was at home. His life went from fame and success as an Olympian to lying in bed, unable to do anything in his parents' home. And the author went to visit him and asked him, "What is it like? How are you doing? How are you coping?" And the author said you could tell that he didn't have many visitors, and he was really appreciative of the author coming in to speak to him and really wanted to talk to him more. And when it was time to go, the Olympian was sort of like, no, no, he was sort of like, no, no, don't go yet. Like, don't leave me. Don't leave me. Don't leave me. And anyway, the author went back to visit him 10 years later, let's say, and 5 years later, whatever it was, maybe it was 2 years, I forget. And he said the man was different. He was lying there, nothing had changed, lying there, quadriplegic in his parents' home. And you could tell he was more at peace, though. The author said when it was time for him to go, the man said, "Okay, bye. Have a great day." And he just made more peace with what he was going through. So for me, I was always noticing improvements. Every single week I noticed improvements over 27, 28 years, improvements in my health. And from 2012 to uh, recent years, They happened even more than once a week, sometimes even twice a day. And that always progressing never gave me a chance to sort of, it never stagnated. I never sort of plateaued and stayed the same way for weeks and weeks and weeks, seeing no improvement. I always improved, glacially slow improvements, but I always improved. And it sort of, it never gave me the opportunity to say, what if I, how do I say this? I was always worried, what if this is the best I'm going to get? Always worried about that. Even though I was always improving, I was always thinking, what if this is the best I can get? At the same time, though, it didn't allow me, those constant improvements didn't allow me to say, to to find more peace, I guess, in my life in the present moment. Like that Olympian who saw no changes for years, and he made more peace with his life. There was always an anxiety around fighting harder. And yeah, it's good to fight. It would have been nice to have a bit more peace, I guess, like that Olympian in some ways, just peace in my current situation, because yeah, my current situation was 27 years, 28 years. So it's I'm getting peace now. I'd say maybe 2019, I've started to have some times of peace and contentment that came and went. And the last year or so, I've had uh, a lot of peace and contentment. I have my ups and downs, but I'm in the more normal range of human emotions like I was when I was a teen. Before I got sick around 22. Well, 17 to 22, I could feel some things coming on, but not too bad at 22 when the disease hit. It hit hard, and I had to start fighting for my life. You can do it. I want to tell you, you can do it. You can keep going despite the odds. It's possible. Keep fighting, keep hanging in there. I had a lady in the psych ward who did it beautifully. She listened to me for an hour, hour and a half, however long it took me to just vent, get everything off my chest, all the stuff I was going through. And she listened, she made me feel like $1,000,000. At the end, she said the same thing each time, and it was just golden. She said, "I think you're doing the best you can. Hang in there." I want to tell you that. I don't know you, I can't see you, but I want to tell you, I think you're doing the best you can. Hang in there. Hang in there. Hang in there. You're doing a phenomenal job. Keep going, keep fighting, keep fighting, keep fighting. It's so worth it. Life, we forget how good life can be, how wonderful life can be. And I'm starting to experience that again. It's a real gift. And the other thing is that when you're fighting, I know with schizophrenia, it could be the same with other mental illnesses. The early part of my recovery was tough, but the pain lessens after a while with me. When you get treatment, when you start to get better, you may not get better right away. Some people do. Some people do. There's a lady with schizophrenia in Saskatchewan who is doing things at the age of 25 or so that I was not doing at 25. Is it the new medications? I don't know. I don't know, but she's doing wonderful things. And yeah, so it's possible. You don't know what the future holds in store for you. You don't. You don't know what medical advancements are going to happen. You have no idea. None of us. I mean, there are people working on this. There are millions, for those who remember Dr. Evil, millions of people working on mental health. Millions. People in labs, social workers. There's so many people working on it. And I know we need a lot more people helping out, a lot more people in the field. We need better programs. Look up the book Todd Leader. Not the book Todd Leader, the author Todd Leader, his book. It's not about us. It's how to transform the mental health and addiction system in Canada. And I'm sure there are takeaways for other countries too. In his part of Nova Scotia, his area of Nova Scotia that he looked after, he radically transformed the mental health and addictions system there, radically. And in his book, It's Not About Us, available on Amazon, he teaches the rest of the country how to duplicate what he did. And it's wonderful. It's the systems are broken, and he teaches how to change the systems. He did it. He actually did it. They got wait times from 5 to 8 months to see a mental health professional, down to a few weeks, sometimes a week or less, which is incredible, absolutely incredible. And yeah, that's I want more people to know about that book, especially people who are in positions of influence who can implement those changes. So keep hanging in there. Keep hanging in there. I also advocate for people with mental illness in developing countries. Some people are actually kept in chains in some countries with untreated mental illness in poverty. And my website is the only one of its kind in the world. I have gathered all the groups involved, as many as I can find, involved in the cause of mental health in developing countries, and put them all on one site. And if you go looking for them yourselves, they're scattered across the web. I found 7 of them. There are more than 7. 7 of them you can donate to or fundraise for. You can put on your own personal fundraiser, bake sale, whatever, and you can help somebody in northern Uganda through one of them, FindMind. The founder is Pavel Repo, and they are helping people with mental illness in developing countries. In northern Uganda, that's where they work, but they want to spread out to other parts of Africa and other countries, and they're doing great work. Forrest Whitaker, the Star Wars actor, his foundation is working with FindMind. Rotary clubs are working with FindMind, and they're getting people better. They're getting people better in northern Uganda. You can donate to them. You can donate a very small sum of money, $3, $5 a month. I'm not sure what some of these. Well, if you go to these 7 nonprofits, try if you want to Google, if you want to donate the least amount of money that you can. They accept. They're all sort of different. Some are $10 a month, I think, but some are $5, even $3 a month. They will accept that on their website and in the donate section when you put in your credit card. $3 a month. That's $36 a year. $36 a year can help somebody. It's I know Strong Minds, another one of the 7. They help women with depression in Africa. They don't use medications. They use group-based talk therapy. It gets phenomenal results. In a matter of weeks, many women are depression-free, and 6 months after, many of them are still depression-free. And that's incredible for a woman in Africa trying to feed her family when she's got depression. To get her back up on her feet is incredible. And you can be a part of that. To help one woman for 1 year, it's $180 for the year. And if you donate, I don't know what Strong Minds, what their minimum is on their website, whether it's $3 a month or $5 a month. But at $3 a month, that's $36 for the year. $3 a month is one coffee per month. Can you afford that? I know Scott Harrison of Charity Water, who helps people get clean water in developing countries. He says that the average number of subscriptions people have is like 10 or 11, and many people cancel one of their subscriptions to, you name it, Netflix or Disney or whatever, and they donate that subscription to Charity Water. I'd like to see the same thing happen to some of these 7 nonprofits for mental health in developing countries. People giving up their subscriptions to things that they might not need to help someone going through unbearable agony with mental illness in Africa or other developing countries, getting them the mental health care they need. If I was in Africa with schizophrenia, untreated, tied to a bed, tied to a tree with my feet through a log, sometimes I do that, in poverty. I mean, I was living in one of the richest countries in the world with one of the better mental health care systems, even though it needs a lot of work. I went through that here, and I was just begging for help, begging for help. Somebody please help me. And their millions are crying out to over 270 million people have no mental health care in developing countries. 270 million. That's almost like the entire US in poverty with no mental health care. This needs to be talked about more. I would love if you shared my website, mindaid.ca. It's if I know there's so many people out there who'd want to help if they'd want to help if they simply knew about it. If they knew where to go, what the groups were to donate to, how to spread awareness about it, how to share their posts. Yeah. So that's my 2 cents. Thanks for tuning in. I'm doing these Monday, Wednesday, Fridays at 7 p.m. Eastern time, and would love if you joined in. I'm open to ideas to talk about, or ideas for mental health tips that I can share with other people. Yeah, please comment. And yeah, thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you on Friday. See ya.